Performer Care Balancer is a nutrient-rich balancer specifically formulated for the performance horse. The market-leading non-heating formulation is a very versatile feed, providing a low-calorie concentrated source of quality protein, vitamins and minerals, and antioxidants. Performer Care Balancer contains the unique Red Mills Nutrition Care Package to provide the horse with optimum nutritional support, including a natural acid buffer and prebiotics MOS and FOS to support digestive health. Performer Care Balancer is suitable as a sole feed for horses on a forage-only diet, for topping up a low-concentrate diet to meet micronutrient requirements, or to aid muscle and top-line development. Check out redmills.ie for more information, talk to your local Red Mills stockist, or buy online at the Red Mills store.
We're getting an Olympic Games.
Tokyo. And the countdown is on.
Quarantine in Tokyo.
Big moment this.
I'm excited
to win gold.
The Olympic Games, how exciting.
2 rounds of short jumping.
Tokyo.
Top class eventing.
The team of 3.
Big day.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Tokyo specials.
It is spectacular.
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
This episode of the EquiRatings Eventing podcast is very kindly brought to you by Connolly's Red Mills, the family business with over 100 years of knowledge and experience in helping to feed your desire to win. Welcome to the EquiRatings Eventing podcast, and this show is very kindly supported by Connolly's Red Mills. Now, listeners, we have got another show for you. Think Love Island bit on the side. Big brother, little brother, if that's the right expression. This is it's all had chance to sink in. Now let's digest and see exactly what everybody thinks. So we're going to have lots of different special guests giving their opinion, the rest of the podcast team as well, and give you a real flavour as to how everybody is feeling post-dressage as we head into the cross-country phase. So if you've missed the reaction shows, you can go back and catch up one from each of the dressage phases, giving immediate analysis on each of the tests and the competition as it's unfolded so far. This is more big picture. This is sort of how things are looking now and what we've got to look forward to. So I'm just going to dive right in. First up, it is Michelle Hazibart, the owner of Virgil, ridden by Shane Rose for Australia. Let's see what Michelle has to say post-dressage, pre-cross country. Now, one of my favourite shows in the build-up to Tokyo was the Owner Special, because it is incredible to hear all of the different stories of people behind these incredible horses and the riders that are taking part in Tokyo. Now, I've caught up with one lady who is on the other side of the world to me. It is very, very early in the morning. We are watching the final session of dressage. I'm presuming it is a much more sensible time of day for you, Michelle Hazibart, who is the owner, the proud owner of Virgil for Shane Rose for Australia.
Yes, it's very unusual for us to be watching international competition at a sensible time. It feels odd.
I know. Well, you always get the short end of the stick and watch, I know, a lot of live streams in the middle of the night, and we appreciate your dedication. So I don't, fair play. What is your current viewing setup? Are you at home? Are you on your own? What's the score at the moment?
I'm in lockdown with my 2 dogs and horses, and so the dogs and I are on the couch, pretty much glued to the TV. I've become a proper couch potato during this period.
I mean, I think that's acceptable. You're in lockdown. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
I'm just north of Sydney. So Shane's based sort of southwest of Sydney, but I'm a bit further north, a bit more coastal.
Okay, all righty. Now, they did their dressage yesterday. They will be pathfinders for the Australian team heading out into the cross country. 31.7. Were you pleased? Are you?
I was thrilled with Virgil, but we did do a lot of statistical analysis and looking at numbers yesterday. Look, I had a discussion with someone this morning. I would love to see us go to more judges at the Olympic Games situation. So one judge can't have quite so much influence. Even to do something like the drop scores like they do in gymnastics and things. I think it'd be great. Just get that bit more evening out, because I actually thought the judges have been judging very consistently at this Olympics, and unfortunately we were just one of the ones that turned up the inconsistencies. And so very, very frustrating. But, it is what it is.
It is a difficult one because everything goes into that sort of the build up to an Olympic Games is absolutely huge. And 4 or 5 minutes in the dressage boards, and that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the competition. But one thing I would say is I don't think it is going to be a dressage competition. Virgil has been to many a 5-star. He's travelled the world. He is, I would say, battle hardy. He is a real experienced warrior when it comes to top level competition. That must give you a good deal of confidence going into the cross country in terms of, the experience that Shane has sat on. Very much bodes well for, pathfinder role for the Australians.
Oh, yeah, very much. Although it does, the flip side works too, is that then you're always sort of, oh my God, is this the one time something will go wrong? At Poe, I stood and watched the show jumping with a few other owners, including Tom McEwen's parents, and they were so nervous before he show jumped at Poe, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, your horse is going to jump. He's the best jumper in the world. And they were still nervous. So I think no matter how good you are or how confident you are, there's still always that element of, my God, it's a horse. Anything can happen.
Nervous. I know you've been a family friend of Shane and Nikki for years. Do you get nervous watching Shane, and particularly on Virgil?
Yes and no. Sometimes it gets me. Sometimes I can talk myself through it. And it's funny, different weird things sometimes can set you off. Sometimes when it's really important, I'm super cool. And at little silly things, I can get really nervous. But it's great. That's all part of the fun of it, the emotional roller coaster that is our sport.
It absolutely is an emotional roller coaster. I think we're all going through all of the emotions over the Olympics as well. How did you first get into owning event horses? What was the start of the Virgil story as well?
Oh, well, I've always ridden since I was a little kid. And finally, my parents wouldn't let me jump, though, when I was younger. So finally got old enough and was funding myself. So took up eventing kind of late-ish, around 30. So I evented for quite a number of years, mad keen. And then I bought a mare off the track, untried, and big, nice type, a thoroughbred, but she just was a bit jarred up, and the vet said, oh, give her 3 months off. And it was the beginning of spring, and she was madly in season, so I thought, I'll give her 12 months off and have a foal. Everything you shouldn't do, breeding from it, just because it's a mare, just because it's got a uterus, I should put it in foal. So that was a very split-second decision, and luckily we got the sperm the next day, and she was in foal by 3 o'clock the next afternoon before I could change my mind and be sensible. And that's where Virgil came from. And so, obviously bred him with the idea of riding him myself. But by the time he got to about 4, it became apparent that he was hugely talented. And I was just like, yeah, okay, no. He doesn't need to be carrying around a housewife. He needs to be doing something far more ambitious.
Amazing. So how did that lead you to Shane? Did you know him before that moment, or was that the start of your sort of story?
No. Shane and I have been mates for years and years and years and years. I had another very good horse called Wayfarer before the Sydney Olympics. And I got pregnant, and so Shane took the ride on him. But unfortunately, it was the very first Adelaide 4-star, and he had a crash on course, which proved to be fatal, unfortunately. And so it was terribly distressing for us all. And he missed his chance at the Olympics. So Shane's always been my mate. But it was funny with Virgil, because I rang him, I said, oh, the bay horse I was riding in your paddock the other day? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, so you didn't think, no. I said, well, I think you should try him before, because I had people wanting to buy him because he was really nice. I said, before I sell him, I think you should try him. No, okay. And I think after one day, he sent me a text and he said, oh, he's okay, this horse. And then I think the second day it was, I like Virgil. And by the third day it was, I love Virgil. It didn't take very long. But yeah, he wasn't.
Do not send him anywhere. What is he like, Virgil? Because he has been to so many major events. He's a really, really cool customer when it comes to competition. But what's he like at home?
Oh my God, he's such a character, a real character. He's the biggest, cheekiest, yeah. But the thing is, people often say, oh, Virgil, to ride, he's actually very nice. He's a nice ride, but on the ground, he's quite playful, let's say.
Talk to me about the playful side. What does he do? Does he just catch you unawares? Like, is he just...
Oh, he's very much his own horse. Yes, it's, sort of what he wants to do is what happens. It was funny once when we were at Burleigh, Shane had 2 horses, and I was holding Virgil, and Rachel, his groom, had the other horse, Nugget, and they were trotting them up for the vet, when you do your own sort of personal trot-ups. And I was chatting to someone, and Rach took off trotting Nugget, and the next thing, I was trotting too because Virgil wanted to go with his friend. I was lucky enough to fly over with him when we went before Rio to the UK. The team horses flew 1 week, and then Virgil as reserve flew the next week. And so Nugget, who was Shanghai Joe, he came as Virgil's babysitter on the plane. And Virgil really, really, really needs babysitting. Like, as Shane said, he wants you to be close. He wants you to be near. And when he says near, it's like within an inch. You have to be in his body space or he's not happy. And so on the flight, I had to, Nugget, zero problem. Virgil, dropped his hay, put it down, weed on it, just general stuff like that. Then we sat in Singapore. We have to sit and wait 6 hours. So they just take the horse crate off and they park us in a big fridge. So we basically sit in this big fridge because it's so hot in Singapore. So we sat in this big fridge and I literally had to sit there, like putting a kid to sleep when you go read them a book or something and you have to sit there until they actually fall asleep. It was like that. I had to sit with him and then I would try and sneak away and the next thing, bang, 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 bang. Oh, okay, Virgil, sorry. Actually the groom that flew all year, that's the professional groom. And at the end of the trip, he said, I'm so glad you were here. He said, I don't know I would have coped with him because so much of what he did, I just went, oh, no, that's just Virgil. He banged the side to hear the noise. That's just about making noise. I said, oh, don't worry about that. That's just Virgil making noises. He said, oh, that would have freaked me out. I said, no, that's just our horse.
Yeah. You can imagine they're all so different. You can imagine if you're that groom, because not always travel with these horses. And if you're, looking after a few horses and you're not over familiar with them and you have a horse like him and, he is sort of making a lot of noise and isn't as settled as some of the others, you would be quite nervous about it if you didn't know that was normal.
When we loaded at Melbourne, it was late at night, quite windy, cold, middle of winter, awful night. And so we go on a transport over to the airport and then they just kind of load you on virtually the tarmac. And so we took Nugget off the truck and all these guys came, the professional groom guys, and they all had their back protectors, helmets, all, geared up. And they took Nugget, who was the quietest kids pony in the world, and they took him and they loaded him into the crate. Meanwhile, because his mate's gone away, Virgil's in the truck, kicking, carrying on, the whole transport's rocking, he's screaming, and they've all looked in there, and I've got him off, and they kind of looked at me and they said, oh, are you right with him? And I went, yeah, he's fine. Because he is, you do just load him on, but yeah, they all just took one step back with their back protectors and helmets and went, oh, you can do it.
You can keep them. They're all so different, aren't they? Just quickly before we let you go, what are your thoughts heading into the cross country? Any news that have come out of the camp in terms of what's in store? What are you expecting? And I guess, what are your hopes? Oh, I mean, that's the most stupid question. What are your hopes? Clear around inside the time, please, Virg. Yeah. But what are your thoughts ahead of cross country?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet because I didn't want to make myself nervous. I thought I'll get to the end of the dressage and then I'll go and study it a bit and see what we're in for. Yeah, no, who knows? I mean, I'm very grateful that we are actually out first because then there's not that much time. I'm like, it just going to happen, so I won't be getting nervous. And I don't know how that works for them over there, but, you know, that's their problem. They have to sort all of that out. But from my own point of view, it's like, oh, good, he'll be over early, and then I can relax and enjoy the rest of the competition. So I think, yeah, it'll be, at this stage, it just will be what it will be. Hope to God. I think Nikki summed it up well at Poe when she said, I would just like to go somewhere like this and put our best work out there. It'd be so nice. Because we always come in, you know, with this whole, oh, well, he's had 18 hours, you know, in the plane or whatever, and then he tied up on the way and da-da-da. It's always been a big drama. And it'd been just nice to get to a competition and being able to perform at his best level. So let's hope we can do that.
Fingers crossed for you. Michelle, thank you so much. It has been lovely to hear more about Virgil. I know you're a friend of the show. We've spoken plenty of times. You've tuned in to a live stream in the middle of the night, and we really appreciate it as well. But look, good luck, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all the podcasts. It makes driving in Australia so much more enjoyable.
We'll keep you going, Michelle. We'll keep you going. We've got plenty coming up.
Excellent.
Catherine here. Well, Michael Young's test was what we've all been waiting for the past couple of days, I think. Good old chipmunk. This was super. It was as accurate as Oliver Townend's test, with more fluency, more elegance. The horse is a better mover. He really nailed it. It was a joy to watch. It was a very secure test, but also an extremely attractive one, and thoroughly deserved to go into the lead. But well done, Oliver, for hanging on to second place for the entire duration. Hanging on to first place and then going into second only right at the end, with Ballamore Class, who I thought is such a good example of a very well-trained horse who is not bred to be a dressage horse, but through correct training does his absolute best. Don Gennaro has been discussed at length, always attractive. It was interesting. I think I expected slightly more from Julia Krajewski and Amand Benville. There was a lot to like, but some mistakes. I really enjoyed watching Tim Price and Vitali. He is a horse that we have seen far more with other riders than we have seen with Tim, and it was beautiful. It was soft, it was flowing. I loved the horse's frame. Did he make any mistakes? I can't. Slightly stuffed up one of the 4 changes and got 3 absolutely perfectly. It was nice to see a New Zealand rider going boom into the top 10 and creeping ahead of Laura Collett, leaving the Brits still just in front at the end of dressage, but with the Germans threateningly close behind. Anyway, dressage done and dusted. We will move on to the cross country, which is the exciting bit. Who knows what will happen? There is no margin for error. The track looks very intense. I think it's more difficult than the sum of its individual parts, and then you add in the heat, the humidity, that sort of thing. It'll be a blast.
Hi there, listeners. Spike the Vet checking in, post-dressage and pre-cross country. So I was, really enthralled by the dressage. Didn't watch any of it live, which makes me seem not quite as keen as others, but that's fine. I caught up in the mornings with the online stuff and with the brilliant summary pods, which were great for them. You know, I'm so proud of the guys sitting up through the night and doing all of that. So I think we should all be really appreciative of that. I think the dressage was really interesting. There's definitely a few there that hit their scores. There's definitely a few there that would be a little bit disappointed. And I think I really see it now as harnessing a little bit of disappointment, controlling it, and kicking on. The 3 to the team, it's so influential that people don't wallow in any sort of disappointments they've had on the previous day, and really kick on and maximise it the following day. And there's still all to play for, and the 20s and eliminations are going to be so vital. They've got to get round, and it's not going to be a place for second thoughts. It's not going to be a place for anyone not feeling fully confident and in a really good place to go out and really give it their all, which I'm sure they're all going to be trying to do. And we just don't want any of those little doubts creeping in. And it's going to be a fascinating day of cross country. Every round is vital. Every round will be crucial. You know, those team scores are so close. And yeah, really looking forward to it. I won't be watching it live. I'm off to a ball this evening and going to try and ignore what's going on so I can sit down and watch a catch up of it as live as it may be. I don't know how successful that will be, but we'll have to wait and see. And then maybe have a little bit of hopefully I can send in another voice note and a catch up after that. So yeah, really proud of the Brits. Come on, the Brits, sitting in gold. Got to be positive. Kick on. And can't wait to see how it's all going to unravel.
So much excitement for me in the dressage watching. This is Frankie Terriot's Dudes from the United States, and I have to say, definitely disappointed and gutted for my USA buddies over there. Not the result that they wanted to kick things off in dressage, but I absolutely, of course, hats off to Mickey Young, another brilliant performance, which of course we expect from him. And then, going down the leaderboard, I think for me, the beautiful chestnut from China, you have to say he is a showstopper. Probably my new favorite. Don Gennaro, I absolutely love him. He is breathtaking, and I haven't really seen him much. Absolutely just love that horse, love that combination. Rooting for them to have a great rest of their weekend. And then you throw in, Timmy Price in there, laying down the best dressage performance we've seen from New Zealand in so long. And, another brilliant team. I think that's a really fun team that they have this time with obviously Tim and Janelle and Jesse in there. I think just what a blast it seems like they're having. And I was fairly surprised in that last group, I have to say, that so many horses seemed to get wound up. I don't know what it was as things went on, but they seemed to really kind of keep a lid on it, I thought, in day one and day two here of dressage. I thought in that last group, it really seemed like several of those horses were just pretty wound up and ready to run. So it's going to be so exciting to see the cross country. I cannot wait. I think with the scores so tightly bunched, and Great Britain throwing down, leading the way with Team Gold so far. It's just going to be really literally hot to the finish, I think. Here looks super warm over there, and we know the time is going to be tight, so it's going to be really, really interesting, I think, to see where things net out.
Well, it's the numbers section of the podcast. I'm here with the two analysts. Where to start? I'm not going to spend too much time on what will now be last night. So if we want to just look behind the curtain for a moment, it's 4:21 a.m. and we've been working through the night. I'm here with George Patrick and Sean Murray. So everything has just happened. We've just seen Michael Young deliver the best ever German Olympic test in history. We've seen Tim Price deliver the second best ever Kiwi test. Who was better? Does anybody know off the top of their head who was better? I'd say it was
1980 is the when it was.
1980. That sounds like charisma. I think Charisma went on to win that year, did he? I think is that the led the dressage and stayed on to win Mark Todd year. I think it might be. Okay, so we have seen some excitement. On the whole, I'll start with you, Sean Murray. On the whole, would you say welcome back to the podcast?
We're back first time.
Yeah, welcome back. No, not first time. You did a voice note the other day where you picked Vermain to be the dark horse on season.
Oh, okay, that is done. Right?
So it's a low bar that we've set for you. But overall, you would say dressage phase, most people are a little bit behind.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think the first session, there were the fair few guys came in, and if you look at the top six, I think, 4 of them now in first place. But then session 2, session 3, yeah, it felt like a mark, maybe a mark and a half behind.
Yeah. When you go back and you look now, you had like Ballamore Class, Amond, the Villeneuve, and Vichy Levine. Speaking of those, Julia Krajewski is at the moment now 3rd in the prediction centre, is that right?
Yeah.
She's moved up. Michael has cemented his place. That placing has been cemented not just by his own score of 21, one of the good dressage Olympic scores as we've talked about. Top German, but also I'd say it's probably in the top 5.
I think it's 6th.
Top 6 ever. Nice.
It's between 5 and 6.
So, but that cemented his position at the very top. Now probably up somewhere around 35%, I think, in the leaderboard. Helped, of course, by Laura Collett and probably Tom McEwen, both being maybe a mark and a half behind where we thought they might be. Brits now, there's to lose Georgia Patrick. Are you nervous over there?
Never. I trust my Brits. They can all get it clear.
But this is what I want to talk to you guys about. So, like, look, we won't spend any more time on the setup, on the dressage. Let's concentrate on tomorrow. You're right to trust your Brits. They are 3 of the top horses in the sport. But what I want to talk to you both about, Sean, I'll start with you. Just how much jeopardy is out there when we talk about 3 in a team. Nicole has literally given us 2 minutes of a gap here to talk about this. But talk to me about that table. I think we are quite a high chance that the Brits get a 20, that the Germans get a 20.
Yeah, I mean, it's
47%.
No, I know what you're saying. I was going around to 50. I don't think we're as accurate as.
I think that's the point. Is you're looking at your best boys who are sat on 47% for the Brits and the Germans to have at least one issue cross country. So your best are at 47. You go down New Zealand. You go down and you sort of see Japan on 50, Ireland coming in on kind of 55%, and these are all the good boys.
And this, sorry, GP, this is the likelihood to have a problem.
Yep, to have at least one issue somewhere on course.
To have at least one issue, and this is, yeah.
If you think about an average championship having a 55% clear rate, and now every round counts. So when it had that 55, you could take most of those clears and say, okay, I'm not going to count them. Now every single one of them is going to be counted.
Yeah. It is just, okay, we actually are not even going to get much more time than this, but it is just going to be so amazing. Like, we've had a chat with the EquiRatings team tonight. Tonight was the night that we said we were going to enjoy it. I don't know how much we actually enjoyed it, given that it's such a long stint. It's so overnight. It's such a endurance test as to whether you can actually survive this long and stay this excited and involved all the way through. But when we come to tomorrow, we've talked about it. It is going to go past us like a complete whirlwind. All of the build-up, all of the talk, Tom McEwen, Oliver Townend, Laura Collett, London 52, all of the American hopes, and like all of that has been building for a year. 2020, the pandemic maybe favoured the US. They're now, like, they continue to perform all across that year. The Irish off to a bad start, but 3 pretty fast horses, very good jumpers amongst the kind of top 3 or 4 in the field in terms of both those phases. This is going to happen really quickly. One single line, one single skinny, one turn goes wrong, 20 penalties, complete change of picture. I don't think I know we've never seen a format like this before, but I don't think we will have felt the excitement like this for a long time.
And from the get-go, I mean, Ballamore Class, second horse out.
Exactly, yeah.
The Americans after that, Australians, 2 more after that.
it's literally just going to be like full...
3.5 hours?
Yeah. And actually, the really exciting bit is, like, it goes Georgia until Like, you don't get to relax, I don't think, at any point. Like, there's no point at which you're going to feel locked in because you don't have that tree in the bank. We're not going to... Georgia, how many times have me and you done that piece where we said they're locked in on a score of X, but they're actually not going to get locked in on a score of anything this time, are they?
I know. Our lives are going to be significantly easier. We don't have to play the game of, if this person goes faster than this, their score goes to this. Otherwise, it stays on this. None of it. Just one score.
You're right. Like, easier, but way more intense. Like, can you imagine the emotional roller coaster that me and you are going to go on when the Brits have a score locked in, whether it's with a 20 or without, and then Michael sets off on course as the dressage leader. Chipmunk. When was the last time Chipmunk had a 20? He's had one at a championship, hasn't he, with Julia?
So the last time he had a 20 was actually Lemoulin in October 2020. So actually not that far away.
Not that long ago, is it?
But then you have to go back to Weg to find his second 20. So, but that's equally what this is about. One of the best horses in the world had a 20 at Lemoulin. Could easily have a 20 here and it not be a massive surprise.
What are we saying? That's 220s from
220s from
20 rounds,
20 runs or so, yeah.
And we're saying top horses are at 80, 85, 90%. That's it. What you're seeing.
Anything else, lads, any other teams? What were any other Japan you were pleased with from the first day, Sean?
Yeah, I think like listen to the pods. Japan watching kind of a little bit quiet. And then
we should
have proved us wrong.
Well, don't worry. I will go back and find somewhere in 2017 or 2018 but I get something good. Because as you know, I'm on a serious bad run of form in terms of my picks. Serious bad run of form. GP, anything from cross country that you're looking forward to?
I think just looking to seeing how the format plays out in a major championship and kind of some of our teams that are coming in with higher expected clear rates and things and seeing how they play out in this format.
I agree. I actually want to see if we're right in one sense. And I know, like, I can feel Sean sitting here beside me. We're not going to be right or wrong. It just is a fact that this is how the maths play out. If the course turns out to be very easy and they all jump clear, so be it, they all jump clear. But the chance of them doing it is very, very low. So it would be an unusual outcome for it to be it would be a very unusual outcome for us not to see a lot of movement or plenty of movement on that leaderboard tomorrow. I'll put you on the spot. Sean Murray, I'll start with you. Cross-country individual leader after by after this phase, after cross-country.
Michael Young.
Yeah, he stays on. Okay, and team?
TV, yeah.
Yeah, stay with the numbers.
Yeah, stay with the numbers, yeah. I mean, I can't do much else.
Bring in the emotion. Okay, GP. Individual leader after the phase.
Michael Young. I think you can't look past him.
Can't look past him. And team?
I think the Germans. I think the Brits have a couple of vulnerabilities that might play out tomorrow.
Oh,
at some point.
Well, Rosie, if you are listening, that's one bit that I would like to have snipped and put on a frame in the EquiRatings office, because it is very rare that we get GP to go against the Brits in any way. So that'll be a moment to keep. I think you're both right, really. I mean, who can call it? Genuinely, very, very difficult to call. As we're saying, a 50-50.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Go on.
I will give you.
Oh Lord, they're betting again.
Betting on air.
No, not betting. But it's okay if you have to call. If I think GP or Germany will be on top. If you give me Germany versus everybody else, I'll take everybody else. I'll put Germany versus not Germany.
Germany versus not Germany. But
or GB versus not GB.
GB versus not GB. So I've got a choice. So you think, that just kind of brings in the maths for everybody. So
even though we're saying favourites.
Exactly, that's the point. Even though we're saying GB are favourite, it's such a, in this sport, in this format, those two things combined, I think make that such a funny thing to be like. It's a kind of, it's almost a little bit pointless to be talking about favourites in the way that we would be in any other sport. So if we had like a team that has dominated the last 2 years or 3 years in eventing, you know, you think there's a world champion. There's a world champion who hasn't even made it onto this team, who's sitting in the subs bench. If you had that in boxing or in sailing or in a lot of other sports, you wouldn't just have the probability, high kind of variability and I suppose vulnerability that you see with this format, that you can have such a brilliant team under so much expectation. And to be honest, 47% chance that they have 20 tomorrow. It's wide open. It's awful for all of those British riders, awful for all of those German riders, Australian riders, Irish riders, Japanese riders. Absolutely terrible situation. And for the managers, terrible situation. But for us, their fans, oh my God, this is going to be one of the best 3 or 4 hours of the year. Sit back, pour yourself a drink, put on the popcorn, and just enjoy it. And don't forget to tell the world that you enjoyed it after, because I think this format and the FEI kind of was forced on them, but I think it took a huge amount of criticism at the time. And actually, I think just by chance it's going to work out into something that is fascinating and fun and interesting. It's different, but I think it'll be brilliant. Nicole gave us 2 minutes. We're going to be in trouble. Signing out. Maybe we'll try. Should the three of us try do our own show?
I mean, I try my hardest. I come on the show, do really well. Sean Murray comes on, smashes it out the park, and is just like, I've got the news, I can talk. Where should we go next?
Yeah, well, why don't we combine all the skills and talents? Me, GP, and Sean Murray, maybe tomorrow evening before cross country, maybe we'll do a little show. We'll go through
Instagram live. We can.
Maybe a live. Okay, well look, let's see how we get on. Let's see what Rosie thinks of this. Let's see what Nicole thinks. We'll give it a go. Okay, over and out from the 5 o'clock in the morning in a derelict house in Dublin. Mind yourselves.
Okay, so I have found the one and only Gemma Tattersall at Bergam. When I say I found you, Gemma, it sounds a little bit like I've been stalking you and I have finally tracked you down, but we're going to talk Tokyo. So your thoughts, British team sitting in the team gold medal position. How do you think the dressage unfolded for them?
Yeah, I think they've done incredibly well. All three of them have put in a great team performance, and that's actually really what it's about. I know that Laura was disappointed with her dressage, but I think she did a great job. It's not easy. It's an Olympic Games, and she's still put in a fantastic team performance and individual, because she's still in the top 10, well inside the top 10. And I think Tommy obviously was a little bit disappointed. Toledo obviously normally has good changes, and he just missed that first change, which is a real shame. And in that test, it's such a you just can't make any mistakes. You can't, because you can't come back from it. And Oliver obviously did a fantastic clear round test, so good for him going in second to go. So yeah, I just think they've done a fantastic job, and to be in gold medal position after the dressage and beat the Germans is blimmin' brilliant.
It is blimmin' brilliant. And actually, do you know what? They have had a lot of pressure going into this. There's a lot of pressure around an Olympic Games anyway. This year even more so, because the Brits have been extremely strong. There were a lot of horses up in contention, and so they've had a really, really intense few months. So to go out there and actually be able to say, do you know what, we're in team gold going into the jumping, is a very, very good position to be in. What was your highlight from the dressage?
Oh gosh, obviously Mickey Young's test was absolutely unbelievable, and that's got to be a highlight. I think all three of ours is a highlight. Why not? They're in gold medal position. They've done a great job. And just like you said, the pressure leading up to this and the pressure at an Olympic Games is like nothing anyone can ever imagine. So good for them.
Yeah, and it is all now. Eyes are turning to the cross country. Have you had a look at the course? Have you got any thoughts? What do you make of it? It's intense, isn't it? It's 7 minutes 45, a lot of jumping efforts. Time going to be an influence, I think.
Oh yeah, wham bam, seat of your pants. Put those big fat pants on, brave pants, come on, and crack on. But also be safe. You got to go out there and you got to kick, you got to pull. It might not look pretty. You got to crack on and get on, but at the same time, they've got to be safe. A few time faults is better than 20. I think it all looks jumpable. And I've spoken to Laura a little bit over message, and she said it's all jumpable, but it's very intense. So it might be sort of, because it's question after question after question, a cumulative kind of thing, then could cause problems because it's just so much for the brain, for the horse, and obviously the heat. Up and down on a camber, it's going to be a really tough question for sure.
It is, and I think it is going to come down to that. It doesn't always have to be pretty. It is sometimes you just got to make it happen, and it's those riders that can make it happen. We're at Bergam, you're competing all weekend. Are you getting up in the middle of the night to watch?
I've discussed it with my head girl, Charlotte, and we're going to go to bed really early tonight. So we're going to finish today. We don't finish too late at all, so we're going to be super organised. We're going to finish early. We're going to have a glass of wine, and we're going to go to bed early, and then we're going to get up and we're going to watch the Brits, and then I think probably we won't finish till the end because then we've got to drive the truck home tomorrow. So, I've got 2 rides tomorrow, which is fine, and we've got to drive the truck home, so we've got to be a little bit sensible, but I can't miss those Brits.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Gemma, we'll try and catch you tomorrow and get your thoughts on the cross country and how it's all unfolded. But listeners, we hope you've enjoyed a little behind the scenes insight. And don't worry, I wasn't really stalking Gemma around the lorry park much. So there you have it, our first behind the scenes little bit of extra slice reaction show for you. Lots of special guests, lots coming up. Do stay tuned, enjoy the cross country. We'll have a reaction show out for you very first thing tomorrow. It's going to be brilliant. Enjoy it, the Olympic Games. Thanks for listening to the EquiRatings Eventing podcast. There'll be more coming very soon. Thank you for listening to the EquiRatings Eventing podcast.
Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I look forward to having you back with us soon.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more.
Listeners, we'll speak to you again soon.
Supplement for success with Foreign Equine's Pre-Fuel and Refuel Gel, the ultimate energy and recovery supplement combination to help support your horse at competition. Pre-Fuel Gel can help give your horse that rapid energy boost by fueling the muscles prior to competition with the power of Foreign Equine's unique hydrolyzed protein combined with vitamin E, B vitamins and key minerals. Refuel Gel, it is more than just an electrolyte. It will help your horse to recover quickly after competition thanks to the added B vitamins and antioxidants to aid muscle recovery, promote appetite and support energy metabolism for optimal recovery. Check out foreignequine.ie for more information and to get in touch with their experts or buy online at the Red Mill store. Used throughout the world, Bedmax is the UK's foremost manufacturer of tailor-made horse shavings. Bedmax is a very high-quality bedding made from British pine, and this bedding provides a healthy, dust-free, stable environment, combating common health and welfare issues associated with the stabled horse. Bedmax is designed to maximise cushioning for joints, minimise moisture that can damage hooves, and provides maximum comfort and support. For more information, go to bedmaxshavings.com. EquiLume is the world leader in the research and development of lighting solutions that maximise the horse's health, performance, and overall well-being. The EquiLume stable lights and casual light masks are game changers for performance horses by replicating natural sunlight and allowing them to receive the optimum level of biologically effective light, whether they are stabled, out grazing, or travelling to competition. Scientifically developed EquiLume lighting products support the horse's body clock, positively influencing mood and behaviour while helping to maintain muscle tone, strengthen immunity, and ensure a sleek and shiny coat. Go to equilume.com for more information.